Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is day 22 of daily CGI. Just wrapping up for the day now, but I spent this weekend doing a good number of tutorials on YouTube. I broke things down into fundamentals of animation, where I've been focusing on the bouncing ball exercises and the flour sack exercises. Bouncing ball being playing with the idea of squash and stretch, and also timing and spacing when it comes to having a moving ball bounce in certain circumstances. So there's that. And then the flour sack was about animating an object like a flour sack and then making it express certain emotions such as happy, sad, miserable, depressed, all these kinds of things. And that's basically the challenge, to take something that doesn't have eyes and a face and a mouth and everything, and to animate it in a way that is believable and full of life, and you interpret what the artist is trying to express through those movements. So that's what I've been doing. I discovered a former Disney animator called Aaron Blaise. He has a YouTube channel with a variety of content at different levels, but at the most basic level, he had bouncing ball tutorial, which was nice to see an expert go through it, even though it's like a introductory thing. That's just where I'm at. Much better than just reading it in the books that I'm reading, you know? So that was useful. And then in regards to Blender, I discovered a channel called CG Cookie, a really well-known channel, it seems. There's going to be so many tutorials that I'm going to follow from that. Could be the best tutorial channel that I've found so far. And I did 2 tasks here. We did melting text tutorial and chess pawn tutorial. The melting text tutorial is a liquid simulation tutorial. As you can see, I'll just let it play out. Hopefully it doesn't affect the recording of this video. It was basically taking text that you've added into the scene here, typing out what you want to type out, and then converting the text into a mesh, and then setting up a fluid simulation and converting that mesh into liquid. You know, I've done a few of these liquid simulations just through my own tinkering and then a couple of tutorials now. So I am well and truly used to setting these up with the domain, the effectors, the inflow, the outflow, and or the geometry. So I'm comfortable with that now. With this one, we really cranked this resolution division, or this maximum resolution thing, to 300. That seems to be pushing the boundaries of what my PC is willing to accept. So, you know, I think the default might be like 32 or 64, and that's pretty low quality. 128 seems to be a pretty efficient testing level, and then anything above that is really nice. So I guess I learned a bit about how that works and what numbers not to go beyond. The other thing is that their tutorial only had 4 letters, where mine has more letters, so that I didn't think about it when I was setting it up, but obviously that's a little bit more complicated than what they did, so it took quite a long time to bake. So it was a lot of sitting around drinking coffee, waiting for things to finish, and then moving on. In terms of liquid, I didn't really play around with these settings, and these are things that I haven't changed in any of my tutorials so far, so that there's some, I guess, a learning pathway or a section that I still have yet to learn. Viscosity and diffusion I changed for the first time, so look in the bottom left, we've got this keyframe, keyframe at the first frame, and the strength is set to 0.1. And then at 30 frames in, it's set to 0.0, so it slowly decreases in terms of viscosity. And then when it reaches 0, it just sort of melts like a liquid, like a full-on watery liquid. So that's how you get that satisfying effect there. Diffusion, he just said sort of turn on but don't do anything with, so I didn't learn anything about that one. What else? Oh yeah, I'll pull up this really quick. This is the final output. I rendered it in, I believe this was Eevee. Simple yet effective. I think it looks quite nice, but I always say that about my own stuff. What else have we got? We've got bouncing ball, just lots of things like that. That's the most basic one that you can do, just bouncing up and down. But then you get more and more complicated with it. Move from left to right, bounce up against vertical walls, whatever you can think of, really. Now this chess tutorial. Took a few notes. I learned how to lock camera to the view so the camera output follows your view in the viewport. I'll bring this back up for a second. And if memory serves correctly, it's in this view tab here. You go camera to view. And it basically, if you go into the camera mode here, or the camera view, and then you rotate around the scene, the camera follows you wherever you look. So that's what that is. So that's useful for setting things up. And then you switch it off and you move out of it like so. A couple more notes. We're nearly done. Made use of ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections. Is it refractions or reflections? Reflections, right? As well as rendering using Eevee. Up until now, I'd been using cycles for everything because, well, it works straight out of the box for me. With Eevee, there's settings that you have to change to get those glass materials to behave properly. And I didn't know what settings to change, so I never did. Yep. Made use of some procedural textures on the chess one. So there's, I think, a procedural texture for checker. It's called the checker texture for the checkerboard effect. And then the other one was a noise texture, which we applied to the pawn itself. I'm not sure if that was for bump mapping or just a bit of variance in terms of the surface coloring. And yeah, I've already been using HDRIs to get some better reflections in the scenes when it comes to glass material, so I already knew how to set those up, but I didn't know that Blender came with built-in HDRIs that you could use to look in the scene, so that was good to know. So that's basically where I'm at. It was a eventful weekend. I could go on for hours talking about these things, but I have to keep it limited. And yeah, is there anything else to show? That's in cycles. That one's in Eevee, using Eevee. You can see a bit of the bloom. I turned it down. Oh yeah, I played around with the camera, the focal length and depth of field and whatnot in the camera settings for the first time, so that was good. I skipped over that in previous tutorials. Bouncing ball. There's daily CGI melting. And I think that's it. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to follow along to my learning journey, my documentation of this progress, then feel free to subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up down below letting me know you liked this video, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully with some more interesting content. Have a good one. See you next time.